Memorial Hospital。它的题目是第一型血红素氧化酶抑制剂在甲状腺癌细胞可诱发细胞的周期阻碍及抑制肿瘤的生长。欢迎郑医师。
Thank you. I'll try to present in English, but I apologize if the presentation is not clear. During the cancer progression, the oxidative stress will increase in cancer cells because the cell proliferation or the alteration in cell metabolism, because the cell metabolism may switch from the oxidative phosphorylation to glycolysis. And cancer cells develop several mechanisms to fight against the oxidative stress, including the NRF2. And previous studies have shown that in cancer cells, the NRF2 expression is upregulated. And NRF2 is a transcriptional factor. One of the down targets is the heme oxygenase. There are two forms of heme oxygenase. The HO1 is an inducible form, and the second HO2 is constitutively expressed. And the function of heme oxygenase is to degrade the heme to bilirubin and ferritin. Both have antioxidant properties. And 4 years ago in this meeting, we have presented our study that the well-differentiated and including the pro-differentiated thyroid cancer have an overexpression of heme oxygenase 1. But in benign thyroid lesions, including adenoma or thyroiditis, there is no HO1 expression. And further, the higher expression in thyroid cancer, the more advanced disease. So in this study, we are considering is it possible to targeting the heme oxygenase 1 in the management of thyroid cancer. The most well-known HO1 inhibitor is the zinc protoferrin. It is structurally resemble to the heme, so it can antagonize the target and to compete with the heme for the HO1. And the other group of the heme HO1 inhibitors, they are imidazole antifungal agents. Among the imidazole compounds, the ketoconazole has the lowest ED50. So in the following experiments, we use the ZNPP and the ketoconazole as the HO1 inhibitors. Firstly, we look at the cell viability. We use 3 cell lines. The first is the FTC133 and the A505C. These two are the thyroid cancer cell lines. And the third is the NTHY is a transformed normal thyroid epithelial cell line. And treat with the ZNPP or ketoconazole will decrease the cell viability. And it's interesting, we can see that NTHY, the cell line, the normal transformed cell line, is more resistant to the HO1 inhibitors. And next, we do the cell cycle analysis. Following treatment with ZNPP or ketoconazole, the cells shows an arrest in the GOG1 cell cycle. And next, we analyze the cell cycle proteins because in cell cycle analysis, we found a GOG1 arrest. And indeed, the Western blot shows the cyclin D1 and CDK4 will decrease following the treatment with HO1 inhibitors. But P21 and P27 will increase. These are cell cycle negative regulators. Because the HO1 is functional as the ROS scavenger, so we want to see if the treatment with HO1 inhibitors will increase the cellular ROS production. And we use 2 different substrates. Following the HO1 will transform this substrate to fluorescence, so we can dictate the fluorescence to see how the cellular ROS levels. And you can see the following treatment with ZNPP or ketoconazole, cellular RS production is increased, also showing the immunofluorescence images. And next, we use the RS temperature. We use the NHE. It's frequently used in cellular studies. It will reduce the cell RS levels. And following treatment with ZNPP or ketoconazole, the cell viability will decrease. However, NHE co-treatment will reverse the inhibition. So we can say probably the cell cytotoxicity of these HO1 inhibitors may in part come from the RS production. And their study shows that when cell encounter an oxidative stress, the cell's metabolism phenotype will change accordingly. And so we use the C-hole system to see the oxygen consumption rate. It's showing the left side. Following treatment with ZNPP or ketoconazole, the basal oxygen consumption rate slightly increased. It means the cell metabolism switch from the glycolysis to oxidative phosphorylation. And this is also compatible in our study using the mitotracer stain. Mitotracer stain is a stain to stain the mitochondria. You can see following the treatment, the cell mitochondria content is increased. And next, we use the xenograft, the mouse model. When we inject FTC-133 cells on the new mice, and to see how the xenograft tumor formation, we can see that one group is treated with saline control, and the other group is treated with ZNPP. And the ZNPP group shows a delay in the in vivo tumor formation. And we took out the xenograft tumor and stained with the cyclin D1 and KICT7. It's compatible with cellular studies. The xenograft tumor has low expression of cyclin D1 and KICT7. So in summary, our previous study shows the thyroid cancer has an overexpression of heme oxygenase 1. And in this study, we use HO1 inhibitors to treat the thyroid cancer cells. And our study, including in vitro and in vivo data, shows that these HO1 inhibitors can inhibit cell growth, and is partly mediated by increasing the RS production, and HO1 inhibitors also change the cell metabolism phenotype. So can be used in a therapeutic target in thyroid cancer. Thank you. My talk ends here. Thank you.
Wonderful study. Any question from the floor? May I ask you one question? The mechanism of ZNPP and ketoconazole is the same, or from different pathway to inhibit HO1 inhibitor. Did you see any synergetic effect of ZNPP plus ketoconazole on tumor growth?
Actually, the mechanism in these two classes of HO1 inhibitors is different. You can see from their structure, but I have both HO1 inhibitory effects. But in our study, both inhibitors have similar results. So we think the main effects come from the inhibition of the HO1 enzyme activity.
The second question I just asked, any synergetic effect of ZNPP plus ketoconazole?
Oh, it's a nice question, but we have done this.
Okay,
we are doing studies using the HO1 inhibitors and other target therapies. We are performing such studies.
Is there any further questions for Dr. Chen? No, thank you. We're closing the session.